Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Bengal Magazine. We have a senior day for you today. 4 student athletes, all seniors, going to be joining me. We're going to start with women's softball and seniors Aimee Fisher and Nicole Sabuda. They're joining us in the first segment. Second segment, we're going to turn to outdoor track and field and Ray Shadowens. Tiffany Aaron will be joining us. 2 more seniors. And then the third segment, my boss, Jerry Boyce, will be on, the athletics director. He also has another hat these days. He's the head football coach. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with women's softball. Hey everybody, let's talk some softball now. We're joined by 2 seniors on the women's softball team, Aimee Fisher, the blonde, Nicole Sabuda, the brunette, in case you don't know. And I'd like to talk to both of you first about the trip down to Florida, where you had a successful trip, 6-4. And this is like an annual trip for the softball team. And I know, obviously, you look forward to it, leaving the winter and getting a little sunshine. But I'm curious, as softball players, how do you use a 10-game span like that, knowing how important the conference is when you come back to Buffalo? Is it fine-tuning, or is it full steam ahead and we're done fine-tuning now? Why don't you start, Nicole?
It's basically full steam ahead. I mean, any fine-tuning is still going to come while you're there. You have to kind of work with what the errors are, but you know, it's games. You can't really kind of take a break. I mean, coach can call timeout and come out there and talk to us, but other than that, it is what it is. People, you're going to see who can play, who can't, who needs to work on what, but it's also going to teach us what we need to work on once we get back.
You agree with that, Aimee?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's more of a, I guess, we do play 10 great teams down there, so we don't have time to fine-tune. So all of our fine-tuning is in the gym and then whenever we get back. So.
Is it difficult to go down there, though, and begin playing immediately when most of your practice time up here, because it is February and March and whenever, I mean, there's usually snow on the ground and it's 25 degrees out and wind chills at 5 degrees, and then all of a sudden you go outside. Is that difficult, Aimee, to go down there and start like that?
It is the first game.
Okay.
I mean, this year was totally different. We actually got to go outside three days before we left, so it was just a different experience this year.
Yeah, that's shocking, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm curious now, let's talk about individuals here. And you both have your injury stories, as you say. And Nicole, I'm going to start with you because you made an interesting decision, backed up by Sandy last year, about maybe sitting, not maybe, you did sit out last year, because this was going to be your senior year. Why don't you take us through that process and what you were thinking about there?
Yeah, well, the year before I had noticed some certain pain, just little stuff, and the more I started working, the more I started getting into practices and doing things in fall ball, I just noticed, you know, I wasn't going to be up to par, and it had to be, you know, I had to make a decision before our fall tournament whether or not I was going to actually play. And so I decided not to and was going to see how it went for the actual winter time and trying to get stronger and that kind of stuff. And I noticed the more I worked out, the more pain I was in. And it just ended up being that it wouldn't have been a smart decision. I would have been, you know, kind of hit or miss, see how it goes, that kind of stuff. And, you know, I knew I was going to be here an extra year considering I just changed majors.
Okay.
And ended up deciding and talking to coach that, you know, I'm better off in a healthy season, you know, for my senior year because no one wants to play unhealthy and no one wants to struggle their senior year.
So it wasn't, as they say, a tough decision for you to make. It was more of a decision that you kind of knew you had to make.
It was very difficult to leave my seniors that I had been playing with my 3 years ahead of time, but in aspects and in, you know, certain areas, looking back now, it was the smartest decision I could have made because, you know, the more I tried to work out during that spring season, that spring semester, just to see what I could do, I wouldn't have been able to make the whole year. I would have been, you know, hit or miss.
And I look down here, and it looks like it's paying off. You're having a fantastic season so far, right? It's 9-5, 3-1 after the split with Geneseo yesterday. But you're batting .452. It's working out as you thought it would?
Yeah, I mean, I'm much more relaxed. I'm much stronger. You know, coach is great with helping people come back from injuries, and that's what she's done. She's helped me out greatly. I mean, she knows what people can and can't do,
Right.
and what things are going to make you stronger, and what aspects of your game you need to work on in order to help with coming off of an injury. And she's made it so I've been relaxed and comfortable playing as a senior. So.
Well, let's turn to your teammate here, who also had an injury issue and really battled through it last year with a tear in the knee. Decided we're going to play, we're going to go, and but I'm sure it probably hindered you, whether it was physically or mentally. Why don't you take us through last year and how it went for you?
Last year was more of a mental battle than a physical battle. I was hurting every day I was playing, but I didn't want to let my team down. I knew that after the season was done, I was going to get it done. I was hoping that this year was going to be different, but right now I'm still on a steady path upward.
Okay.
But I'm still not 100%.
Well, that takes me to my next question. I mean, the athletes know when they're 100% and when they're not, and it's got to be both physically and mentally difficult for you right now, knowing that you might be at 85 or 90%. And yet you're saying you're going up, so there's light at the end of the tunnel there. You see progress with your knee.
Definitely.
Is this year then difficult too to start off this way?
Oh yeah, this year is definitely difficult. My knee is practically fine now.
Okay.
I am battling other injuries that I'm encountering. I have maybe another 3 or 4 different injuries right now that I'm trying to fix. But it's my senior year. I'm a gamer. I don't care how much pain I'm in. I'm just gonna play hard and just play.
Yeah, I mean, there comes a time where you decide, well, this is it for me. I got one more year, and I can always get it fixed or whatever. And if it's not going to hurt any more than what it already is, let's get on with it then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult. Let me ask you about Nicole, about this utility and your many hats that you wear on the team. Before I came over, Jeff Ventura had mentioned that when you're not pitching, and both of you are pitchers, you also catch first base, second base, and then you're in the outfield. How did that all happen? And of those, which one is your favorite besides pitching, I would assume?
Yeah, pitching's fun. It's great. You get you're always in every play, always having to think, that kind of stuff. Catching actually came my junior year when our catcher quit mid-season, as far as from fall to the spring semester, and we didn't have anybody. So Coach and I were sitting down thinking about who could catch, and the more and more we talked, and the more and more we were trying people in practices, I just seemed to fit back there. So, it is what it is. You have to play your part for the team, and in my mind, as long as I'm playing, I'm having fun. So really, it's hard to pick between positions. And as far as second base went, I kind of sort of got thrown out there recently just, to try a new thing. I mean, the biggest thing about softball is whoever's hitting is going to find a spot in the lineup. And that's what it is. You need to put the points on the board in order to win a game. I mean, you do want strong defensemen, but in aspects, you can only DH for so many players. So
absolutely.
You got to find a spot for the people who are hitting.
There you go. Aimee, let's close the segment with you, and let's look ahead a little bit to the conference. Geneseo split with Geneseo yesterday. It's probably going to be a Cortland-Buffalo State type issue again. How do you ladies look at this? Is 4 years for you now, and you've probably seen the same ladies too, and you've competed against them for 4 years, and here you are your senior year. So what's the outlook for you guys this year, and how do you do this in your 4th year, knowing that this will be the last time I face a Cortland or a Geneseo or a Plattsburgh, et cetera?
Well, with the group that we have now, we all know from last year that it's a very touchy subject from the championship game. But the group that we have, we just look forward. We look forward to playing them. We want to beat them. We want to just get back from what we had last year.
Right.
It's a very touchy subject, but we all know that.
Well, what would be the key for the Bengals then this year? Now, you've seen your team, pitching, defense, hitting, obviously, you could say easily all of the above, but if you had to pick one ingredient for this team, what would it be that you need to make sure it happens?
Hitting, definitely.
Hitting. Okay. And as we go along, where are we right now in terms of our hitting?
We're definitely not where we want to be right now. I mean, the past couple games really haven't gone the way that we wanted them to. But I see girls working. They're working hard, and I know we have plenty of games left to work on that. So I'm not worried.
And the conference is just starting, and the weather's turning beautifully. So
Yeah.
I wish you both the best of luck and bring home a championship to women's softball.
Thanks.
Thanks very much for being on. We're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk outdoor track and field. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Bengal Magazine. The outdoor track and field season has started here at Buffalo State, and two senior student athletes are joining us, Ray Shadowens and Tiffany Aaron. Welcome. Let's start with you. I want to go back a little bit to the indoor season. I know I just prefaced this by saying the outdoor season, but you had a terrific indoor season topped by the Suniacs. Why don't you tell us what happened there?
Well, I scored in the 55-meter dash. And our women's team won the SWINIAC championships for the first time ever at Buffalo State. So that was awesome.
Well, you're being a little humble now. You said you scored in the 55. You actually took fourth.
Yes.
Among all the competitors. What went right for you in that meet? And do you look back on it and kind of go, geez, if I just had done this, maybe that would have happened?
I think what went right for me is I had a good start and a good transition. And so I finally had put a good race together.
Okay.
And that's why I ran a good time.
Let me stop you there. I'm sorry. When you say transition for us novice people, is that off the blocks and then the next few steps after that?
After the drive phase, after you come out of the blocks, there's a drive phase. And then you have to transition from your drive phase to upright running.
Okay.
So I usually struggled with that. And it was better. It was better at championships.
Well, I would think, too, in a 55-meter race, you do that and that. There's not much time for anything else except run as fast as you can.
Yes.
Okay, terrific. Ray, you, both of you, in fact, went to Maryland for the Maryland Invitational for the outdoor season kickoff. And tell us about that experience, Ray, because it was predominantly against Division I student athletes.
Yes, that's correct. We went to Maryland, University of Maryland, to get our outdoor season start. We usually try to travel to get great competition to kick off the season, hopefully get some good weather as well. It's always a great experience at the beginning of the year to go out and say you're competing against some of the best teams in the nation.
Sure.
And it also helps put Buffalo State out there and helps people know, like, oh, where exactly, or what is your program like?
Yeah,
so it's a great experience.
Now, from the indoor season to the outdoor season, is there a major change in terms of preparation for the races, practices, et cetera?
Well, obviously we start to practice outdoors for outdoor season. The workouts, they feel easier on the body just because you're more in shape. We've been working out since September. So at the beginning of indoor, it's right after Christmas break. It seems more difficult, but the workouts are still equally as hard. You're just in better shape once outdoor comes.
Gotcha. Now, this young man here is from Troop, Texas. We have some Texans on our rosters. I know that. Tell us where Troop, Texas is, and how did you get to Buffalo State?
Troop, Texas is in the piney woods of East Texas.
He says with a smile.
It's about a population of about 1,000 people.
Wow.
And when people are like, what it's near, I'm like, it's about 3 hours from Dallas, 3 hours from Houston. No major cities around. Graduated with 80 students. So
Holy
it's
smokes.
that's about the
And
best.
you run track for fun, right?
Yeah,
that's basically what you do. And then you went to Stephen F. Austin and then found your way to Buffalo State. Tell us about that.
Yeah, originally Stephen F. Austin was the only school around in East Texas that had a track and field program. So I started there, and then after a few years, I just looked for a change of pace, kind of, and the way it went, I was just kind of looking for a school that had my major, had a track program, and was kind of in a bigger city. I kind of wanted to get out of the country a little bit, and Buffalo State happened to be one of those. And the thing that sold me is I contacted Coach Lewis, and within a day, he had already contacted me back.
Wow.
And so that was kind of the selling point right there.
You may be the first person I've I've known that calls Buffalo a real big city. So, but good for us in that sense. Now, you've decided to concentrate on being a decathlete,
Yes.
which for those who may not know, and I had to write it down, day one is the 100, the long jump, the shot put, the high jump, and the 400.
Yes, sir.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Day two is the 110 hurdle, the discus, the pole vault, and I love when you say yes, sir, to me, javelin, and the 1500. How does one decide I want to become a decathlete?
That's originally I was kind of always a utility guy. I played a lot of different sports, and I was never really amazing at anything, but I was able to pick up things very quickly sometimes, and that's kind of how I fell into the decathlon. The last couple of years I focused on the hurdles a little bit, but being my senior year, coach has given me the opportunity to focus more on the decathlon, and I'm hoping by the end of the year it pays off. So
terrific. Now, of all those events that I just listed, what's your top one or two events?
My strongest event is the 110 hurdles.
Okay.
That's an event I've done since middle school, and then I'm more of a sprinter, jumper kind of type, but I've been fortunate. I've picked up the pole vault fairly well, and in Division III, that's kind of helped me kind of get a boost in like the decathlon, because it's a very technical event. So that's probably might not be my best event, but one of my favorite events to do is the pole vault. So.
Terrific. Now, we've got about 30 seconds left in this segment. We move into the outdoor season, and great success on the indoor season. How are the ladies looking at the outdoor season now?
Well, we like to continue that success, obviously. We're hoping to bring back another championship this outdoor season to match our indoor season. So we can have 2 years on a banner. We have 2 banners in the gym.
We love hanging banners in the sports arena, so go get them. Ray, Tiffany, thanks very much for being on. We appreciate it, and best of luck to you.
Thank you.
We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, Jerry Boyce is going to join us. And don't forget the 26th annual Buffalo State Golf Classic, benefiting the student athletes here at Buffalo State. Monday, June 22nd, Orchard Park Country Club, a beautiful layout. If you're interested in playing or maybe just coming to the dinner and auction that night, give me a call directly at 878-6514 or visit our website, buffalostateathletics.com. Click on the golf icon, and there's the brochure. You can download that, fill it out, and send it off to me, and we'll make sure you get into the Bengal Club Golf Classic on Monday, June 22nd. And I am joined now by the athletic director at Buffalo State, Jerry Boyce, who's not a bad golfer himself. And Jerry, that's, let me see here, 2 years ago you won with a 52 or something, or is that just a rumor I heard?
Strictly a rumor, Tom.
Okay. But it's an important golf tournament it's a lot of fun, but it's an important golf tournament for us, too.
Absolutely, Tom. You know, all the benefits and the revenue that comes from that goes directly to the student athletes. And because of, you know, with you coming on board, Tom, and raising the bar, we have gone from just a few thousand to over 25,000 annually raising there. So it's become a huge, the fundraiser for us in athletics.
Yeah, it certainly has, and a lot of fun, and the folks out at the Orchard Park Country Club really take care of us. It's truly a great time for everybody. Let us put on your football hat, because you're wearing 2 hats these days, obviously as the athletic director, as an administrator, and also as the head football coach. So you've had the job now for a couple of months, football coach. What's it like? Has anything changed since you've been gone?
No, at this point in time, Tom, everything is focused on the recruitment.
Okay.
And kind of reloading and talking to as many of those quality student athletes that we can and trying to get them to come to Buffalo State College.
Now, how has the reception been for you in the high schools? I'm just making an assumption that there's probably some coaches that were coaching when you were still at Buffalo State your first stint, and now there's probably some new coaches who might not know who Jerry Boyce is. Do you have to kind of reacclimate yourself with the old and the new? How is it in the high schools?
Yeah, it has been, Tom. There's been a number of them are still coaching there when I was coaching. So it's the reacquaintance part, and that's gone very well. And then with new coaches, a little bit of a history lesson of where we were and where we expect to be, and gaining their confidence in our program.
Yeah, I was about to say, you don't want to go in braggadocious to the new people, but you also have to let them know that, geez, I did this pretty well for a whole number of years. You may not know. And so you build their confidence up in you that they can send some of their players your way, that those players are going to be getting a good football education.
Well, you're right, Tom. Any young man, any coach wants to make sure that if they recommend one of their players to a particular program, that they have a pretty good idea that they're going to go there and have the opportunity to have a great experience.
Sure.
And to me, that's everything. The experience that the kids have. That in itself is recruiting, because they will go back and talk to the teammates that were with them the previous year that are still at their high school. Go back and talk with their coach, and that way the coach gets to know what's going on over here. That's the way it was many years ago when I first came here, was to get the confidence within the coaches that if one of their kids comes to Buffalo State College, that things are done the right way,
right,
and that they're going to have that opportunity to have that great experience.
It is April 1st right now. We are 5 or 6 months away from the season opener in the first week in September. For the viewers out there, what happens in a Division III football office right now? Because you're so far away from your first game, and training camp really is in the middle of August. So what do the football people do right now?
Well, it's a little bit different. I haven't been in football for the last 8 years, and about 6 years ago, the NCAA approved legislation for Division III to have 15 spring practices.
Okay.
They're without the pads, but they're worthwhile. So that's kind of exciting.
Yeah.
But what that does, too, that's different from when they didn't have it, is it forces us to get our playbooks in order. When we didn't have those practices, we would wait till May and over the course of the summer to refine the playbooks from the previous year and get things organized. Now it's done much earlier, which is great.
Yeah.
So now we're in the mode, even though we're still recruiting is the main focus, we're getting together and planning about these practices that start next Monday. So that's kind of exciting.
Sure.
It's even though the pads don't go on, and I wish they could, but it's a lot of developmental. It's for us to put in new plays and concepts and things of that nature that will be different from previous years. So it's we're transitioning actually into football much earlier than I ever had before.
And I bet you it's got to be exciting for you as a coach now, because being away for 8 years and new to the program in terms of the personnel, it's your first chance to see them as you literally walk the field and watch them go through the routines for 15 days.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm looking most forward to, Tom. There's still, I don't know the kids.
Sure.
But so that for me to be able to put those names and see what, to get an idea anyways of what their abilities are and our talent level is. And I say to a degree because you don't know until pads go on.
Right.
Really who the football players are.
Right.
So even though that doesn't happen, it still gives us an idea of where we're going, and it gives us some time too to play around with some of the concepts that we're thinking about with this play, and we find out, well, that doesn't work, so we tweak it and to make it work, so we're not doing that during preseason like we always had to do.
Right. We've got about a minute and a half left, and we have a young lady, quote unquote, retiring from the athletics department. In fact, when we leave here, we're going to go back and celebrate her retirement and all of her successes. But Dr. Gail Maloney is retiring after many, many years at Buffalo State, and I'm sure you have some great stories. You two worked together for a long time. It's a wonderful celebration because there's so much to celebrate about in her career.
It really is, Tom. Gail was here with us for 31 years.
Yep.
and wore many titles during those 31 years, from coach to even interim athletic director to senior associate athletic director, and had so much to do with not only her success as a coach with the women's basketball, which she will really be recognized for, but the behind-the-scenes work with her drive and her commitment to the growth of women's sports. And not just at Buffalo State College. She had a large part to do in our conference, the State University of New York Athletic Conference. And there's many women today, young ladies across our SUNYAC conference, that have opportunities because of Gail.
And for anyone who's listening, any of the viewers who knew Gail, drop her an email or write her a letter and let her know what she meant to you. Jerry, thanks very much for being on. Thanks for being the football coach and the administrator on this show. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Tom.
I'd like to thank everybody at Track and Field for coming on, and Aimee Fisher and Nicole Sabuda from softball. That's going to wrap it up here at Bengal Magazine. I'll see you again in 2 weeks for more Bengal Magazine. Don't forget the 26th Annual Buffalo State Golf Classic, benefiting the student athletes here at Buffalo State. Monday, June 22nd, Orchard Park Country Club, a beautiful layout. If you're interested in playing or maybe just coming to the dinner and auction that night, give me a call directly at 878-6514 or visit our website, buffalostateathletics.com. Click on the golf icon, and there's the brochure. You can download that, fill it out, and send it off to me. And we'll make sure you get into the Bengal Club Golf Classic on Monday, June 22nd.